Chapter 256, Love and Prejudice in the Bones. Returning to the hospital, Fang Hao found that Lu Jing still had some concerns about Zhou Yun. She asked, "She slept the whole morning and continued sleeping. Is she okay?" "She's fine." Fang Hao wished he could keep Zhou Yun here until the day after tomorrow because he was officially getting divorced from his wife tomorrow. He didn't want anyone opposing the divorce to become a variable. He was also considering whether to treat his mother-in-law tomorrow and put her to sleep as well. After all, last time, his mother-in-law went to the Civil Affairs Bureau and waited a whole day just to stop him and Su Ro from filing for divorce. Tomorrow, he would take a day off to handle this major divorce matter. Good that she's fine. Be careful with such people. Don't cause any medical accidents. Lu Jing still had some worries, although she knew this might be a disgusting tactic Fang Hao mentioned to pressure Jiangdong Group. The reason was that people from the Zhang family had mobilized personnel from the commercial system to conduct a surprise inspection of Jiangdong Group's financial situation. Now that Zhou Yun was trapped here, Jiangdong Group would be passive, possibly forcing out the hidden Zhongling Tian. While she was concerned about Zhang Jun's 1 billion investment and Fang Hao poking a big basket, she hoped it would be worth it. "Oh, you didn't go see Jiang Qiusheng this morning. The dean isn't happy. I told her you were going on TV, causing a delay. You should go and explain to her now, with solid reasons." "Sure, I'll go now." Fang Hao went to the main building to find Yang Wenjin. "Dean, did you call me?" "Slap. Fang Hao, you've gone too far. I asked you to go check on Mr. Zhang's postoperative condition because you were the lead surgeon. You should be present, but you were thinking about getting famous on TV. You've really disappointed me." Yang Wenjin slammed the table, asserting her authority over Fang Hao. "Who do you think you're intimidating? How much longer can you stay in this position?" Fang Hao innocently said, "Dean, aren't you a bit biased in your words? The attending physician after the operation is Dean Zhou. He is responsible for the main treatment. You should find him. If there are any issues with Jiang Qiusheng after the operation, he will come up with a treatment plan first. I'm just a small attending physician. You all forced me to take on the lead role. I can't be responsible for everything. If you hadn't mentioned going on TV, I wouldn't have attracted so much hatred. Now that things are difficult for me, please spare me." Yang Wenjin paused for a moment and asked, "So do you think there's an issue with Dean Zhou's plan? No confidence in Zhou Long? It seems that his professional ability needs improvement, or is he deliberately setting me up?" Without hesitation, Fang Hao said, "No problem, even I would treat it the same way. If there's no issue, then let it be." Yang Wenjin waved her hand, letting Fang Hao leave. She then called Zhou Long to inform him of Fang Hao's attitude. Returning to his office, Fang Hao recounted the conversation with Yang Wenjin to Lu Jing, seeking her opinion. Lu Jing said, "Since it's Zhou Long's responsibility, just ignore it. Let them handle the treatment." "Oh, you said there are people cursing you on the TV station?" "Yes, you can check the forum under the TV station. Someone posted my phone number, and I've received many hateful messages. It's about to flood my inbox. Take a look." Fang Hao took out his phone and showed Lu Jing the messages. "These should be people dissatisfied that I didn't answer those feminist questions as the host wanted. I didn't want to go on TV in the first place, and when I went to explain and answer questions, I ended up being criticized. It's tough for me, so please spare me. This isn't right. This twisted trend needs to be suppressed." Lu Jing was thinking of countermeasures, calling the TV station to complain and asking the forum moderators to block negative comments about Provincial People's Hospital. Later, Yang Wenjin called for an impromptu meeting to convey the spirit of a document from the province. It was because another extremely bad incident had just occurred in another hospital. A patient attacked a doctor. The cause was that the doctor overtreated the patient and mocked the patient for not having money to seek medical treatment. The Health Bureau repeatedly emphasized the need to handle doctor-patient relationships well. "Fang Hao, you must be careful." Yang Wenjin directly pointed out the issue with Fang Hao, as the recent doctor-patient incidents in the hospital were somewhat related to him. I don't have a position now. I haven't caused any trouble." Fang Hao was speechless, realizing that Yang Wenjin didn't like him, and that dislike was deeply rooted and enduring. "But that doesn't mean you'll stay quiet. You, in particular, need to be vigilant. I'm considering giving you a few days off." Yang Wenjin was very straightforward. Huang Yidao seemed to be pondering the relationship between Yang Wenjin and Fang Hao. Was there some hidden conflict between the older and younger doctors? Fang Hao was currently applying for the position of hospital dean, and taking leave during this period would be seen as slacking off. Director, our outpatient department is already overwhelmed. If you want him to take a break, you'll have to give me 5 people. Fang Hao handling the workload of 5 people is already underestimating him. Where can I find 5 people for you? Just let Fang Hao continue working, but he shouldn't be assigned to the outpatient department. Yang Wenjin made a decisive decision and ended the meeting. Walking on the corridor bridge, Lu Jing quietly said, "Can you see it?" Yang Wenjin is determined to support Zhou Long. I thought it was shameless enough for her to entrust Jia Qiusheng's postoperative care to Zhou Long. Now she even wants you to take leave. This is not favorable for you. Director, let's treat the application process with a calm mind. Whether I succeed or not, it's either good luck for me or fate. Fang Hao nodded, hoping that everything would go smoothly tomorrow. Yet, he had a faint premonition that if Su Rou didn't get the promise from Zhongling Tian, she wouldn't easily agree to the divorce. He just wanted a peaceful divorce without making a big fuss. He didn't want the shame of his wedding night to be widely known. Lu Jing said, the quickest way to move on from a marriage is to start a new one. You are still young, don't torture yourself. Old Zhang and I can introduce you to someone. What kind of taste are you looking for? Director, please don't arrange anything for me. I'm not alone now, I have a son. If I immediately find a new mother for him, he might break up the family. Well, that little guy is quite clear about his likes and dislikes. At home, he seems to prefer his mom a bit more. Yes, I might have been too strict, while Su Rou always spoils him, offering him small things to win him over. Fang Hao suddenly couldn't continue. He smiled bitterly and said, so, please don't arrange anything for me. Understood. Lu Jing pondered. It seemed that Fang Hao wouldn't be able to get out of Su Rou's shadow for a while. Alas. Chapter 257, A Matter of Time. Around 4 in the afternoon, Fang Hao received a call from his younger sister-in-law, Qin, thanking him for delaying Zhou Yun and inviting him to dinner. This indicated that the actions against the obnoxious Zhou Long group had come to an end. Fang Hao inquired about the results, but Qin said they would talk when they met. Her tone didn't sound excited, suggesting that the gains might be minimal. It seemed that bringing down Zhongling Tian wasn't as easy as it appeared. Old man, I don't believe I can't get rid of you. Fang Hao woke up Zhou Yun, who looked around in confusion, feeling like she had slept for a long time. However, she discovered she was still in the office. Getting up and stretching, she noticed a pleasant surprise, her headache was gone. Oops, I can't hold it any longer. I need to visit the restroom. Zhou Yun almost ran out, disregarding her image because she was about to burst. Returning after a moment, she looked refreshed, saying, Fang Hao, I still need you to treat this condition of mine. Is it already past 4 in the afternoon? My phone can't be wrong. In the next second, she saw numerous missed calls, including those from the company, private contacts, and messages. Especially Zhongling Tian's urgent message, making her feel that something big was happening. Why is Ling Tian looking for me? Is something wrong with the company? How could it be scrutinized out of the blue? Quickly scrolling through the messages, she found out that the company was being inspected by personnel from the industrial and commercial system. She was unaware beforehand and couldn't formulate a proper response. She wasn't present at the company, and there was no one making decisions. Ling Tian contacted me directly, he must be taking charge. But why would the industrial and commercial system inspect the company? What's the reason? Did someone notice the funds that came in a few days ago? Zhou Yun thought about many possibilities. While replying to messages, she asked Fang Hao, why did I sleep so long? What you did last night, you should know better than anyone. You were just exhausted. I saw you sleeping so soundly, no matter how I called you, you didn't wake up. So, I let you be. Fang Hao spoke candidly, not admitting to any interference on his part. He added, tomorrow is about me and Su Rou. It has nothing to do with you. I don't want to see you intervening. Zhou Yun was stunned for a moment, nodded, and left. She called Zhongling Tian first, explaining that she had a severe headache yesterday and had taken medicine, sleeping the whole day. Upon learning that the company matters had been resolved and Zhongling Tian didn't blame her, she felt relieved. Next, she went to find Su Rou, only to discover that Su Rou had sold her house and was in the final stages of moving out. Zhou Yun called Su Rou into the car and said, Xiao Rou, you actually sold the house. Don't you know Ling Tian's intentions? He wants to live conveniently with you upstairs and downstairs. By selling the house and moving out, everything he did would be in vain. Su-ro replied, he's willing to do all these things, but he's unwilling to marry me. What's the point? Do you know he loves someone else and refuses to let go? If he marries you, he won't be able to explain to other women. But I think he cares about you the most. Su-ro bit her lip slightly, her eyes showing some confusion. She softly said, don't talk about him. You've been unreachable all day, and the company has been calling me. Ling Tian also tried to reach you. Where have you been? I went to your husband for treatment. As a result, I slept in the chief's office all day. From morning until now, my headache is gone. You went to my husband for treatment? And he actually treated you? Letting you fall asleep there? Su-ro was surprised, but she seemed to understand something. She asked again, your phone, did my husband ask you to turn it off? Yes, what's wrong? My husband said he wouldn't treat you yesterday, but he changed his mind today and asked you to come. He told you to turn off your phone deliberately. Can't you see? This is his intention. When Ling Tian found out, he came to inspect the company today, and it's the Zhang family's faction. My husband is highly valued in the hospital, even saving Zhang Jun's life. They have mutual interests. This can't be groundless. Oh, I told you my husband is very clever. You have to be careful of him. Su-ro forced a bitter smile. She had underestimated Fang Hao, who had uncovered evidence of her affair, delved into Tianji Peak, and exposed Ling Tian. Now she was facing the crisis of divorce. Yet, she didn't blame Fang Hao. After all, it was her own doing. In fact, she hoped Fang Hao would find out, so she wouldn't have to hide anymore. But leaving Fang Hao meant no one wanted her. The two men she loved didn't choose her, leaving her heartbroken. Fang Hao is just a doctor. Besides treating illnesses, what else can he do? What's his motive for getting involved? Zhou Yun asked. I don't know. Maybe my husband only needs to play the role of a good doctor. In fact, he did succeed in keeping me one more day. How do you feel now? Any discomfort? Like dizziness, blurred vision, or nausea? Su-ro replied. No, not at all. I had a terrible headache this morning, as if my life was at stake. But after his treatment, I'm fine now. If Ling Tian hadn't told me about the company's situation, I wouldn't believe anything happened. Thank goodness for Ling Tian, otherwise, the company might be in trouble. Xiaoro, your husband is quite cunning. Zhou Yun, thinking of something, added, just now, your husband warned me not to appear tomorrow and not to interfere in his affairs with you. It's a kind of warning. Xiaoro, are you really divorcing Fang Hao tomorrow? My husband gave me an extra 3 days. Time's up, and I have to divorce him. What about the paternity test? That can't salvage anything. I just want him to know that I didn't deceive him about the child. Using the child to threaten him is stupid. He said there are 10,000 ways to make me miscarry without my knowledge. He is annoyed to see me now, an unprecedented aversion. Not divorcing him won't make him feel better. He used to be infatuated with me, listening to everything I said, treating me like candy, afraid that I would melt in his mouth. But I didn't cherish it. Now that I've realized it, it's too late for everything. As Su-ro spoke, tears streamed down her face as she covered it with her hands. Her shoulders began to tremble as she tried to endure it. Zhou Yun handed her a tissue and said, not knowing how to comfort her, if you feel wronged, just cry it out. Su-ro continued, I've discovered that I really fell in love with my husband. But I messed it up. Zhou Yun said, your husband is handsome, young, skilled in medicine, saved your mother's life, and silently cared for you for 4 years. Even if you raise a dog, you'll develop feelings. So, it's normal for you to fall in love with him. Stop crying. Tonight, I'll find someone to tie him up, so he can't go anywhere tomorrow. It's not about tomorrow. Yeah, not tomorrow, and not the day after. It's just a matter of time. Xiaoro, don't be sad. Zhou Yun seemed to understand Su-ro's reason for sadness, which wasn't just about divorcing Fang Hao but possibly had other origins. She asked, did you go to see Ling Tian today? I did. Is he still silent? Yeah. It's so heartbreaking the way he treats me. Chapter 258, Never Give Up Easily. Honey, come back for dinner. In the evening, Su-ro called Fang Hao. She knew this might be their last dinner together. However, Fang Hao responded, I haven't finished work yet. I have a consultation later, so I won't be coming home. It's not necessary. How about coming back after work and staying overnight? I won't. There's no need. Hearing Fang Hao hang up, Su-ro sighed deeply, then joined her parents. She tried to suppress the urge to cry and announced that dinner was ready, forcing herself to eat. The food tasted bland, but she continued eating, knowing that she needed to nourish the 2 children inside her. Her husband's child must be born healthy and plump. Xiaoro, what's wrong? Su Buiyuan noticed his daughter's abnormality and couldn't help but ask with concern. Nothing. Suddenly feeling unwell, Su Ro rushed to the bathroom to vomit. Honey, I need you. Feeling vulnerable and in need of her husband, Su Ro cried silently. But her husband didn't come, and she couldn't blame him. She had to be cautious because, if Fang Hao had a change of heart, he might make her lose the child. In that case, she and her husband would have no ties left. After washing her face to remove the tears, Su Ro went back to her parents and continued eating. Later, she brewed a cup of tea for fetal protection, entered the study, and noticed her father hastily putting away his phone. Maybe I should leave first, and you can continue your conversation. Xiaoro, it's not what you think. The female boss of Jiutian Tea House wanted information about futures trading from me, and I refused. But she's still bothering me. Su Buiyuan took out his phone and showed Su Ro the recent chat, appearing open and honest. Su Ro didn't want to pay attention. She asked, why did the Industrial and Commercial Bureau suddenly investigate Jiangdong Group today? Why are you concerned about that? Su Buiyuan questioned. My husband might be involved. Zhou Yun went to see him for a headache, and then she slept in the hospital all day. At the same time, Jiangdong Group was investigated. It's too coincidental. I don't want my husband to get into trouble. I need to find out what happened. Ling Tian is planning to short Blue Sky Group. The news might have leaked, and Zhang Jun, a shareholder of Blue Sky Group from the Zhang family, saw the crisis. So, people from the Zhang family started investigating Jiangdong Group. However, this investigation hit the mark, and Ling Tian's prepared 1.5 billion won't stay hidden. Does my husband know about this? Possibly. When Fang Hao and I went to see Ling Tian that day, he asked about the internal situation of Blue Sky Group. I didn't hide anything. Fang Hao was present and heard it too. But he's just a doctor, knows nothing, and even if he knows, it's useless. Oh, is there still a chance to short Blue Sky Group now? There is, but it won't be so smooth. It depends on how Ling Tian plays his cards. Why are you concerned about this? Are you looking to make some money? I was just asking. I'm not short of money now. Su Ro now understood. Her husband was indeed involved. Husband, what are you planning to do? Dong dong. Fang Hao heard a knocking on the door and went to open it, finding his wife, Su Ro. He let her in and asked, what are you here for? I went to the hospital, and you weren't actually working. Why did you lie? Do you hate my family so much? Yes. I hate it very much. If you sign the divorce papers now, I don't mind. I'll handle the formalities tomorrow morning. Fang Hao didn't let her sit. He stood and said, if those are still your words, it's a waste of both our time. You can go back. Do you really read books on economics and management? Did you actually get involved in shorting Blue Sky Group? Are you crazy? Su Ro noticed several professional books on economics on Fang Hao's desk. She knew her husband wasn't in this field, but with his intelligence, understanding this knowledge shouldn't be too difficult. He had a talent for mathematics, evident from comprehending the profound mathematical treatises recommended by her mother. Mastering mathematics was a prerequisite for studying economics. Hugging his arms, Fang Hao stared at Su Ro and coldly said, if Ling Tian's attempt to short Blue Sky Group leaked out, he would have to pay a higher price to continue shorting. Is he angry? Are you heartbroken? Is that why you came to question me? Su Ro, you're really something. Husband. Su Ro was taken aback, quickly saying, husband, it's not what you think. I'm worried you'll get involved in these conflicts. You're just a doctor, not suitable for playing these capital games. Why don't you focus on being a doctor? Isn't that better? No. Fang Hao coldly declared, Su Ro, since you said that, let me tell you, I won't give up easily. I will bankrupt your ex-lover, and I'll watch him fall into misery. You, too. In these 4 years, you thought you earned more money than me, thought you were smarter than me, and believed you could freely cuckold me and play with my feelings. I'll make sure you end up just like him. When you're bankrupt and penniless, I'll see how you two endure together and how affectionate you'll be. Husband. Su Ro, with wide eyes, felt a sense of unfamiliarity, coldness, and even danger or cruelty emanating from Fang Hao. Good and evil coexist, and she hadn't expected Fang Hao to be pushed to this extent. She had also underestimated the danger of putting a green hat on her husband. She stammered, husband, you're not like this. You're not. Su Ro, are you a fool? You humiliated me, and now you want me to spit and watch you two smile at each other? Do you really think you're someone special? Do you think that old thing is someone great? Go away, go and accompany that nauseating old thing. Husband, don't be angry. Calm down first. I didn't expect it to hurt you like this, didn't expect it to have such a significant impact on you. I'm sorry. There are many things you didn't expect. You're so reluctant to leave. Tian. Go, spend another night with him. Tomorrow, I'll take him away. From now on, you two won't meet again. You don't want him to know that his mother is a disgusting cheating woman. Husband. Feeling a tremor from the depths of her heart, Su-ro realized that Fang Hao had been pushed to the brink. She had also underestimated the danger of giving her husband a green hat. Su-ro sighed and had to leave. Meanwhile, in an upscale neighborhood, in a luxurious villa on the top floor. Hearing the doorbell, Zoyun went to answer and saw that Ling Tian had arrived. She was so scared that her soul trembled 3 times over. She quickly knelt down and said, "Big brother Tian, I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone to the hospital for a headache. If I hadn't, the company wouldn't have suffered a loss. Don't worry. The night is long, and we'll revisit the happy times of the past." Chapter 259, Old Zhang backs down again. Not long after Su-ro left, Fang Hao received a call from Zhang Jun, asking him to come over whenever he had time to talk. Following the location Zhang Jun sent, Fang Hao arrived at a high-end residential area, a lavishly decorated standalone villa, the residence of the beautiful secretary and sister-in-law. Upon seeing Zhang Jun, Fang Hao noticed a hint of redness on his face, a dazed look in his eyes, and the lingering scent of alcohol. It was evident that he had resumed his life of indulgence. Fang Hao wanted to advise Zhang Jun to take it easy, considering the recent major renovation. Such a lifestyle wouldn't lead to a long life. However, Fang Hao understood the difficulties people like Zhang Jun faced, even if they owned hundreds of houses. Wealth without heirs meant waiting for the family line to end. Without experiencing Zhang Jun's struggles, Fang Hao refrained from offering too much advice. Zhang Jun, dressed casually, allowed Fang Hao to perform acupuncture on him and then make tea for himself. Qin is taking a shower. Feel free to have whatever you like. Don't be shy, Zhang Jun said as he lay on the sofa, enjoying the flow of energy brought by acupuncture. His fatigue was gradually dissipating. I heard from Xiao Jing that you managed to put Zoyun to sleep for a whole day. That's quite a skill, Zhang Jun remarked. Fang Hao replied, Zoyun's situation is unique. She suffered from headaches all night and didn't get any sleep. If there's a place for her to lie down, she can fall asleep. Haha, I know your ability. Don't be modest. In a lower voice, Zhang Jun added, when you're done with the acupuncture and leave, remember to hypnotize me as well, so I can sleep early. Why? Fang Hao inquired. Qin is about to turn 30, full of vigor. Your brother here is like a stranded dragon, ready to surrender when necessary. My sea dragon brother, turns out you can't satisfy your fish anymore. Fang Hao nodded, acknowledging that this could be arranged. At that moment, a beautiful secretary, wearing high-quality pink pajamas and with semi-dry hair flowing over her shoulders, approached. Even before she got close, a faint fragrance wafted through the air. Little sister-in-law. Fang Hao, you're here. The sister-in-law prepared tea for Fang Hao from a specially exquisite box, displaying skillful and graceful movements. She said, Fang Hao, try this. It's de Hong Pao specifically prepared by old Zhang for you. He rarely lets me drink it, claiming I waste it. Today, I'm basking in your glory. Zhang Gu, little sister-in-law, it's a waste for me to drink it. Just give me plain water. Fang Hao could smell the familiar aroma of tea, reminiscent of the time when his mother-in-law was discharged from the hospital and his uncle's family brought de Hong Pao. Taking a sip, he said, little sister-in-law, did you invite me here to discuss Jiulong Group or Blue Sky Group? I'm not familiar with your business tactics. No worries, let's just chat. The sister-in-law said, we investigated Jiulong Group and found out they prepared 1.5 billion in funds, with several hundred million more to come. They are specifically targeting Blue Sky Group. I doubt you casually mentioned us investigating Jiulong Group. That was purely coincidental. When I visited the sanatorium with my father-in-law to season Ling Tian, I overheard them mention Blue Sky Group. I'm an outsider, they didn't avoid talking about it, and I couldn't understand their conversation. So, I asked about it this morning. Your father-in-law, Su Buiyuan, is an economist and a senior professor who actively participates in government economic strategy formulation. Moreover, he is close friends with Xingling Tian. When these two team up, 1 + 1 is greater than 2. I almost made a blunder. Little brother, I don't treat you as an outsider, so I'll speak frankly. Don't take it to heart. Zhang Jun interjected with a comment. I'm getting divorced from Su Ro tomorrow. Su Buiyuan won't be my father-in-law anymore. He's not a good father-in-law, and he's even disrespectful. Feel free to comment on him as you wish, Fang Hao said. Zhang Gu, I'm just a doctor. I can't do anything about matters outside the medical field, Fang Hao continued as Zhang Jun expressed his dissatisfaction with Su Buiyuan. The sister-in-law added, that's true. Those of us in business have a saying, don't make money beyond your understanding. Fang Hao frowned slightly and asked, so, are you planning to withdraw from Blue Sky Group and leave early? The sister-in-law raised her eyebrows but remained silent. Zhang Jun explained, we can't stop what Xingling Tian has set his eyes on. It's better to leave early to avoid losses. Reclaiming the funds now means breaking even. With these billions, we can invest elsewhere. Money is money, whether it's from Blue Sky Group or elsewhere. Fang Hao nodded, sipping his tea. Zhang Jun's approach was the most stable and reasonable. If there's a financial crisis, running away is the best option. If this 10 billion were mine, I would choose to confront Xingling Tian to the end, Fang Hao sighed internally. Unfortunately, he didn't have that much money. The sister-in-law also requested acupuncture from Fang Hao to relieve her fatigue. Fang Hao, respectful, complied with her request. After some casual conversation, Fang Hao removed the acupuncture needles from Zhang Jun. Following Zhang Jun's suggestion, Fang Hao induced a tired state in Zhang Jun, making him yawn repeatedly. Achin, I'm tired. I'll rest in the room. You escort my little brother out. Zhang Jun's bedroom. The sister-in-law accompanied Fang Hao outside the house and asked, earlier, when you acupuncture old Zhang, he was full of energy. Why is he so tired now? Fang Hao explained, Zhang Gu underwent major surgery, and strictly speaking, he's still in the recovery period. I didn't recommend him to be so active this early. But I know he won't listen to me, and you won't either. The sister-in-law's cheeks suddenly felt warm, but under the cover of the night, she didn't feel too embarrassed. As Fang Hao got into his car, she followed. She asked, Fang Hao, I noticed that when you heard we were going to pull funds from Blue Sky, you seemed unhappy. Why is that? No, I'm not. You've come this far, little sister-in-law, you have some skill in observing people's reactions. It's just the two of us here, I know my situation, what else do you feel hesitant to say? Fang Hao replied, I don't like Xingling Tian. Why? Don't you think he's a ruthless capitalist? I see. But he's indeed powerful. Even Zhang Gu and I together aren't his match. We're not in the same league. We can only protect ourselves and run away. Without this huge sum, the companies under us would face a crisis. We might be squeezed out and bankrupt. If you're not in the same league, it's because you're afraid before even starting the fight. Facing an old guy like him, you're all scared. Oh. Fang Hao lit a cigarette, saying, also, little sister-in-law, teach me how to quickly accumulate funds. For example, if I have 3 million, how can I turn it into 300 million? Hee, you're aiming for 100-fold return. You can only buy lottery tickets or gamble for that. Lottery tickets? I've bought them, but luck isn't on my side. Then go gambling. Let me tell you a worn-out story. When old Zhang was young, he also accumulated some initial capital through gambling. He went directly to be the house, taking on all the gamblers. But I don't recommend you follow him because he had a powerful dad to back him up. If you have 300 million and want long-term, stable investment, I suggest you open a stock or fund account, invest in liquor stocks, and make around 100,000 a year. Understood. I'll consider it when I get back. Fang Hao bid farewell. Just as he left the high-end residential area, he suddenly sneezed multiple times. Damn, who's cursing me behind my back? Chapter 260, Making a Move. Master, it was Fang Hao who asked me to stay at the hospital and not return to the company, Zhou Yun reported. On the other side, Zhou Yun, who had just had her gag removed, was panting, her face covered in sweat, and her black hair sticking to her forehead and face, exuding a unique mature charm. She resembled a gentle little puppy, kneeling on the carpet beside the sofa. Xingling Tian sat on the sofa, legs crossed, looking down from a high vantage point. You're saying Little Turtle intentionally kept you at the hospital? Little Turtle? Who is that? It's Fang Hao. He's quite audacious. He's not only divorcing Su, making her unhappy, but also interfering with my big plans. He's really daring. Master, tomorrow he will divorce Su Ro, and Su Ro doesn't want to leave him. She has already fallen in love with him. You must help Su Ro. Divorce? Without my permission, can they divorce? Tomorrow, I'll let him know the consequences of making Su unhappy. Master, how do you plan to do it? It's simple. I'll make sure he has no place to stay in Jiangdong City. He'll have no choice but to beg Su to take him in. Master is truly formidable. This servant was thinking. No thinking. Tonight, wear this while sleeping. Zhongling Tian watched as Zhou Yun put the gag back in her mouth. He pressed a switch, and the gag released a mild nod, causing Zhou Yun to tremble and collapse softly onto the carpet. She could only whimper for mercy, tears streaming down her face. Satisfied, Zhongling Tian left. A moment later, he arrived outside Su Buyuan's villa and called Su Ro out. Su Ro didn't come out, but they spoke over the phone. Su, tomorrow, you won't be able to divorce. Little Turtle will obediently beg for your forgiveness, crying and pleading. Su Ro panicked. What are you going to do to my husband again? I'll make him realize that I call the shots in Jiangdong City. If he makes my woman unhappy, I'll make him unhappy. He's just an ant, and I can easily crush him. Tomorrow, he'll come to beg you tearfully. What if you force my husband into a corner and make him break ties with me? Have you considered that even a cornered rabbit will bite? A cornered rabbit is still a rabbit. Give it some bones, tie it up with a stick, and it'll be obedient. Su, you're not behaving well. Come see me tomorrow. Tomorrow, my husband will be watching me closely. I won't be able to see you. Su Ro hung up the phone, feeling uneasy. Although she didn't know what evidence her husband had, his awareness of Zhongling Tian's existence was abnormal. Moreover, her husband's strange self-confidence and furious anger were not baseless. If her husband were pushed too hard, he might choose to explode. What should I do? Ling Tian, can you really save me? After returning home, Fang Hao continued to sneeze. He checked his pulse and found no abnormalities, ruling out the possibility of catching a cold. However, he realized that his body needed rest. Having stayed up all night, he hadn't slept a wink. Lying in bed, he couldn't shake the restless thoughts about tomorrow, the day of his official divorce from his wife. Sleep eluded him. Reading didn't help either, as he couldn't concentrate. Frustrated, he resorted to giving himself an acupuncture treatment to induce fatigue and force himself to sleep. Thud, thud. The next day, he was abruptly awakened by loud knocking at the door. Upon checking, he found the landlady, a woman resembling a landlady from a kung fu movie, accompanied by 3 burly men. The landlady bluntly stated, Mr. Fang, I'm informing you that I won't rent this apartment to you anymore. Fang Hao was stunned. What are you saying? You're not renting to me? I've paid 6 months' rent, plus a deposit, and we have a signed agreement. I'll refund your deposit, and you won't be charged for the rent you've paid. You have 2 hours to move out, or I'll have people throw your things out. Landlady, you can't do this. I'm informing you, not negotiating. The landlady turned to the 3 men and ordered, stay here and watch. If he doesn't leave within 2 hours, throw him and his things out. After she left, one of the men said to Fang Hao, brother, don't overthink it. She won't let you stay here. Pack up and move out quickly. Glancing at Fang Hao, who looked handsome and assumed to be a kept man, the man couldn't help but give him a disdainful look. Such situations were familiar to him. Brother, don't worry. If she doesn't let you stay here, pack up and move out. Otherwise, she'll have your things thrown out. Fang Hao suspected Su Ro might be behind this. Today was the official day of their divorce, and if Su Ro didn't want him to have a stable place to stay, it could lead to various troubles, including denying him access to his son. However, he also considered the possibility that Su Ro wouldn't have such capability. If she wanted to harm him, she would have done it earlier. She didn't harm him, so he didn't intend to confront her directly. He just wanted a peaceful divorce. Could it be Zhou Yun? Or that old scoundrel Zhongling Tian? After careful consideration, he decided to pack up and move out for now. Many things were still unpacked, so it wouldn't take long. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was Yang Wenjin calling, asking him to come to the hospital immediately without specifying the reason. They exchanged a few words before hanging up. Perplexed, he called back to inquire, Director, I have important personal matters today, and I've already requested leave from Director Liu. Why do you want me to come back? Yang Wenjin replied, Who allowed you to take leave? The City Health Bureau wants to talk to you about transferring you. No need to talk. I won't go to the Health Bureau. This time, without waiting for a response, he hung up, immediately suspecting the orchestrators behind the scenes, likely Su Ro and her associates. He promptly called Su Ro, who answered while on the way to pick up their child. In a cold tone, he said, "Su Ro, you're quite something, a treacherous woman. Playing games with delaying tactics, saying one thing to my face and another behind my back. I'll be at the Civil Affairs Bureau in half an hour, during the opening hours. If I don't see you there, I'll reveal your and Zhengling Tian's dirty secrets to Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fun. Face the consequences on your own." After hanging up, he swiftly packed the remaining luggage into his car, settled matters with the landlord, and headed to the Civil Affairs Bureau. However, he soon received a call from an unfamiliar number. It was Lu Jing calling. "Why are you looking for me?" he asked. In an aggressive tone, Lu Jing snapped, "Fang Hao, do you have any shame? Why are you driving my brother-in-law's car? Do you really think it's yours? Return it to me immediately. Hurry, hurry. Hurry your mom, hurry." Fuming with anger, Fang Hao hung up. Soon after, he received another call, this time from Jiangdong University. The person on the line used an equally confrontational tone, saying, "Are you Fang Hao? You have 1 hour to remove your personal belongings from the lab and surrender the keys. Otherwise, we'll dispose of your things." This call, too, offered no room for explanation and promptly ended. He called Lu Yu, who was unaware of the situation at the lab. Without much explanation, he instructed her to delay and, once he finished his tasks for the day and found a place to stay, to go over and move his belongings. If she couldn't stall, he told her to find someone else to handle it. "Zhengling Tian, is this your move? Hiding in the shadows, as despicable as ever. Disgusting. Su Ro, do you think you can delay things beyond today? Even if it's past today, what about tomorrow? The day after tomorrow? Sorry, I won't give you another day. Today, it must end."